This practice is investigating moments when you're trying to decide between things. And the example I'm thinking of now is like those moments when I don't know, when I ask myself, should I rest or should I like motivate to work more now? Should I rally in some way? And there's this very abstract way that I really love. It might be really confusing to you. If so, just kind of, you can forget about it and just play with the body scan after it. The thing that I like to do is to say, like, I consider one action, like I sort of imagine that behavior, and then I imagine the other behavior. And I sort of ask myself, like, if this behavior was turned into a liquid form, would I want to put it on my plants? Would it help my plants grow, or would it not? Like, battery acid would not be something I would put on my plants. Fresh water would be. So that's really abstract. Maybe that makes sense to you, maybe not. And then kind of taking that idea of like, what is vitalizing, and checking in yourself and starting in your headspace. And here I'm going to kind of play with like imagining and feeling in the present moment. So for a moment, imagining a plant. Maybe a plant you've seen, maybe a plant you have near you now. And getting a sense of what's the tone of that plant? Like, is the stem floppy, or does it have some structure to it? Does it seem dry, like a twig is all dried out and stiff? How much flexibility is there before it snaps or folds into a permanent bend? And that plant, like, especially thinking about a bud, like a very, just any part of the plant that's really coming into growth, that quality of potential energy and that buoyancy, that expansion, that whatever that is for you, when you see a really healthy looking plant, how that looks different than a plant that seems a little bit like maybe it has a bacteria that's not helpful to it. And so coming to just sort of get a sense of like this vital plant growth feeling, whatever that is for you. And checking in your headspace, now coming to your very own present body. You might bring your hands to like check the shape of your head. A little tapping if you want. Coming to notice your skin, your hair, the micro muscles of your face around your eyes and mouth. Your tongue, your mouth inside, your throat. The area behind your eyes, the area of your brain. And noticing what has that vital growing plant like sensation. Maybe nothing, it could be nothing. And that's totally fine. Just checking to see, is there any part on you that has any similarity to that vital plant growth feeling. And if you notice something, you might also look for something neutral, like maybe it's not quite as vitalizing as this plant growth moment. But maybe it just feels like rather neutral, like my nose at this moment feels rather neutral. It doesn't feel especially alive and awake, nor does it feel like any sort of pain or difficult sensation. It's just chilling. And then following down your throat through the center of yourself, pouring into your chest and your shoulders. It's like upper chest and your back chest. The space between your back and the front of your chest. And again, looking around, is there any tissue or skin or muscles or anything in there that has any sort of sense similar to this alive, vital plant? How a plant is really quite still, like you look at it and it doesn't really, move that much, but that it's always changing and growing at this micro speed. Just noticing in you, is anything moving at this like speed of plant existence speed? And again, if there's no area in there that feels like that, just looking to see, is there any area in that chestal zone that feels even neutral? Like for me, for example, that would be my rib in this case. Could be many ribs, but just I'm thinking about one rib. Feels rather neutral. And pouring into your arms, your arm sockets and your elbows and your wrists and your hands, the skin on your hands and the muscles. Saying hey to each finger, each part on each arm. And again, looking for like sort of this vital plant aliveness, anything similar. And it might be really different for you. For me, sometimes like when I close my fist and I like make a muscle, when I feel my muscle activated, sometimes that sort of feels like this vital plant thing. Could be totally opposite for you, but just to give you an example. And if there's nothing like vital feeling there, like plant-esque, looking for something neutral, like in this case, my fingernail feels rather neutral. And then saying hey to your head and your chest and your arms, and coming down again through the center of you as the air like comes into your body and goes through your throat, down into the center of your torso and your belly, and this front belly and the sides of you and the back of you. And again, it might be like a vital muscle, or it might be like the way fat tissue can be really protective and nourishing, like a kind of like mother embrace nourishing, or a loving parent embrace, or a cuddly animal. Sometimes fat can have that feeling. Whatever is there for you, checking out in that center of your body region, that whole 3D space, barrel. Is there any part in there that has this vital plant quality? And then pouring your attention into your pelvic bowl, your pelvic bones, and even the tops of your hips, and all your butt muscles and your butt fat and all your genital tissue, all of those pelvic micro muscles, like your butthole, you're closing the poop and letting out the poop, those kind of micro muscles. And just noticing again what feels vital, like this plant aliveness quality, or neutral. And if you find nothing in this whole thing and you're very confused, you've still done it right. The goal here is really just to check. Kind of let the information be clear or abstract. And then pouring into your thighs and your knees, and your lower legs, your calves and your shins and your ankles, and your heels and the soles of your feet, the arch and the ball of your foot, and the top of your foot, and all your toes. And again, just checking, is there anything in here that feels anything like this growing plant, vital plant feeling? And if not, is there anything that's neutral feeling? Just taking a moment to link this back to this original sort of like decision-making navigation tool. You might have to really modify this, but just to give you an idea of how you could play with it. When you are trying to decide between like this or that or another thing to do, some action to take in the moment, some way to spend your energy and time in that moment, getting a sense of sort of asking yourself, does this activity like light up these vital plant feelings in me? And so I don't know what one should ever choose in any moment, but for me, I'm noticing what is vital plant feeling feels really helpful. and just a goodbye, kind of waving at all the parts of yourself, and if you feel it, saying thank you to all the parts of yourself for like playing this practice.